Damn, that's filthy. Is that better? Oh, jeez. Ugh, what an embarrassment. Okay. So I'm in Canada right now. It's me, Lauren Cadillac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, maybe Mother of the Century, even. So I'm in Canada, and I'm in Toronto. Well, just outside of Toronto. So that's why Drizzy Drake is on the um, thumbnail. Anyhow, I'm just outside of Toronto, and they're an hour ahead. So I'm like, oh my God, it's 10:30. I'm late. Da da da. Then I open my computer. My computer is on Dallas. Oh, turns out I'm a half hour early. Oops. Time zones are technically math, and I should technically not be subjected to mathematics. Period. Like, to me, torture, like if you wanted, I shouldn't say this out loud, if you wanted to torture me, just like give me math problems. All right. So I'm just outside of Toronto, where Drizzy Drake grew up. And I have so much to talk about. Oh my God, I have so much to talk about this week. I was not here last week because I was at court. I was at court last week, and that was an interesting experience. So I missed y'all. All right, so the big thing, well, one of the big things that went down this week was Donna Adelson's sentencing. I did a live about it. I am convinced that Harvey hates that woman. He straight up, to the judge's face, called the judge biased. And a biased judge. Okay, Harvey. You could just say you want her to be in jail for the rest of her life. You don't have to put it that way. So Donna got life, which is not long for her, plus 30, plus 30, plus 30. But the second 30 are supposed to run consecutively. So life, 30, 30, concurrent 30. She's like, what, 72, 75, somewhere in there. She's now in jail. She's now eating jail food. You know, it's probably not much longer. I assume Harvey's going to have a lot more time on this planet than her. And now he gets to be free of his burden. In that live, I went over the 4 pages he had, and only this much said anything nice about her. They spent 54 years ago, and he has this much nice. 54 years ago, he has this much nice to say. That shit cracks me up, y'all. That shit cracks. It cracks me up. Oh my God. That guy. Oh shit, Harvey. Okay, so that happened. Then, y'all remember how I covered the, hold on, I gotta enter these numbers into my phone. Okay, remember how I covered the appeals court going over the Melly appeal on the evidence, right? And when we watched it together, I talked about how the tone and like the type of questions that the appeals court were giving very much led me to believe that they thought the government had overreached and that they were going to affirm that discovery or those items should not be allowed at trial. I don't want to say like as usual, but I mean as usual. I was right. Here's the thing. It's not good to child abuse, okay? I am definitely a child of abuse, okay? I don't advocate child abuse. It's terrible. I suffered through it. But one little like superpower that came with like suffering through what I suffered through child abuse wise was the ability to read people. Okay, like I can read a room, I can read facial expressions. I just got this really good ability. So when I heard the appeals court, I thought, oh, Melly's gonna win this one. And he, in fact, did. Actually, it's kind of fucked up. Okay, so Melly won this. This evidence is now excluded. If you recall, Bortland had to take a plea pretty much because the judge was like, no, we're going to trial whether or not that appeal is appealed. But like the appeal had an effect on Bortland's case, right? So now that Melly won the appeal, I wonder if Bortland's attorneys are going to try to pull back his plea. Now, I watched the first Melly trial, but I didn't do it with y'all because I wasn't streaming trial information at that time. But when I watched it, the government heavy relied on social media posts, heavy relied on that Snapchat crack. Like, if you recall, oh God, what was his name? Detective? I forgot his name. Anyhow, the detective who had to have his face covered during testimony, but then the defense found the Cash App with the wife's picture. Fuck, what was his name? It's his use of the information, that the government or that was excluded because the information he used to conduct his portion of the investigation was gathered long before he began the investigation. So the appeals court has agreed with Melly on this, and that pretty much, God, I forgot his name, the gang expert guy. Come on, guys, tell me in the comments. You guys remember his freaking name. It's like a white dude who's a gang expert, which I don't understand, like motorcycle gangs or what, buddy? I don't know. Oh, why won't any of you help me? Help me, guys. Who is it? What's his damn name? Anyhow, his testimony really was like the gang aspect, I think. And they relied heavy on that. And if you recall, the new judge has already said, I reviewed the old case and I don't see gang evidence. So going into 2 years from now, when Melly actually gets his trial, I don't think they're going to be able to prove the gang connection. I just do not believe that. How are you going to prove it? I don't even think there was one. When I watched the first trial, what I gathered in terms of like the gang stuff was that they were all Bloods, but they were like different sects were trying to recruit him. Danny. Judge Danny. No, not Judge. Danny. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Guys. No, Mark. Hey, Nene, welcome. No, Mark Moretti was like a different one. Wasn't it Danny? This is really good. I'm going to Google it. I'm like, this is really going to bother me. Gang detective. The ski mask detective. Oh, shit. What was his name? Wasn't it Danny? Danny Polo. Danny Polo. Remember Danny Polo? Remember I have to wear a ski mask, Danny Polo? Remember he wore a ski mask and then 2 days later the defense shows up and they're like, we found his Cash App? Hold on. is the defense. This is the defense. Your Honor, there's Danny Polo's photo right there on Cash App for everyone to see. You remember that? How can we forget? I can't believe I forgot his damn name. Danny Mother Truckin' Polo. So Danny Polo. I mean, like the name sounds stupid. Even I think that's like his undercover name. It could be his real name. Anyhow, Danny Polo had used files pulled on a different warrant by a different detective on a different charge to try to build this gang testimony. That's what the appeals court said he could not do. No, you exactly cannot do that. So all that evidence is not going to the next trial. That changes things for the prosecution greatly, guys. They're going to have to really rethink this case. With Melly's new team as it is, and the fact that this information has been excluded, based on what I saw in 23 in their first trial, the prosecution's first trial, I think Melly's going to have sat in jail for 9 years for no fucking reason. I think he's going to be acquitted. What's the case? What is the case left over, y'all? Okay, so I heard that this recording came out with one of the kids who was in the other car. Okay, so backtrack on Melly, backtrack. Melly and his homies were at the recording studio. They leave the recording studio at like 3 a.m. or some ungodly hour. They have 2 vehicles at the recording studio. Melly, Sack Chaser, Juvie, and Bortland get in one vehicle. This dude and some other dudes get in another vehicle. Hey, Blue Nettie, welcome. Okay. Bortland, Sack Chaser drive off with Melly. So this guy from this other vehicle, there's now a recording that came out where he's talking about Melly saying to come pick me up, talking about Melly's mom finding the casings in bushes. Talking about some dispute between, okay, like the record company wanted Melly to move to California, and then like the other people did. I'm not really sure what that was about. Like if they didn't want him to move to I don't know, but I know the record company wanted him to move to California, and I know there's some kind of dispute going on in that car about the record company, which translates to money. So let's say the prosecution gets a hold of this recording, which I'm sure they have it because I saw it on YouTube, so they have to have it. It's in the public arena. The problem is, are they going to be able to get the young man who was recorded? Are they going to be able to get him to testify? Or who he was talking to? I don't remember who he's talking to, but they have to get one of those 2 people up on the stand to authenticate the recording. So I don't know if they could do that. I mean, the guy could get up on the stand and plead the fifth and say, I don't know, that's not me. I don't remember. So I don't even know if they're going to be able to use the recording. Let's say they cannot use that recording. And obviously they can't use what the appeals court has told them they cannot use. What's left? I remember a lot of testimony about like cell phone pings and stuff, but none of it was like conclusive. None of that proved anything beyond a reasonable doubt. What is left? How's the prosecution going to prove this case? I don't know. It's not looking good for them. Which I actually think is really funny, as you can tell by my laughter. I can't remember that night because it was yeah, right. Hey, K-Way, long time no see, man. Welcome back. Welcome back, friend. Because I was hot, because I was hot, because I was hot. Ba-da-da-da-da. Canada is surprisingly close to Texas, guys. My flight was so fast and easy. It was great. It is so expensive here, though. Oh my God. I don't know if you remember, but I came here 2 years ago. My daughter, or it's 2 years? A year ago? Anyhow, it was substantially cheaper here then. Like it is very expensive. I guess it's also Canadian Thanksgiving week, so maybe that. Oh, and the Blue Jays are like in the World Series, so there's a lot going on here. Maybe that's why it's expensive. I don't know. Okay, so on Melly, I don't think they could like the appeals court did what they should do. What's the prosecution gonna do now? Oops. They have a shoddy case. Like loose at best. At best. Okay. So I also did some research on Lil Durk because you'll know how I feel about lyrics and how the government should not be able to use lyrics against people as evidence because lyrics are art and art is protected under the First Amendment, ugly as it may be. Shit really pisses me off. Okay, so there's this one little piece of Dirk where it's like the prosecution totally screwed the pooch, and he allegedly did a confession song, but the confession song was written like a year before. So, how do you confess to something you don't know is going to happen? I would call that more of a prophecy song, personally. Of course, we have a situation again where the prosecution does not just open up the free government website that you can search any copyright ever copyrighted and just see the date. No, that's too difficult. One hand of our government can never speak to the other, dude. Like, don't ever assume that the government knows something because one piece of the government knows something. Do not assume this piece knows. They don't talk to each other. They do not know what they're moving separately. Okay, so the Dirk thing, there's that one piece element that is like completely unacceptable in my opinion. But then there's all these other elements that seem pretty sketchy. For instance, Dirk put a hit on this guy. Oh, and it was like with Quando Rondo, and his cousin died, which was really sad. And I just think it's so stupid how these people just shoot at each other. It doesn't even make sense. Okay. Now, I need to thank Trap Laura Ross for my knowledge of this because this is where I learned it. King Von was in Atlanta and was by someone who Quando Rondo knows or something. So people were really pressuring Dirk that he needed to avenge King Von and go after Rondo. So it's said that Dirk had put a hit and offered like 100K or something, which is substantially less than what Yella Beezy offered on Mo 3, if you recall. So fast forward, Dirk pays for some homies or coworkers or whatever you want to call them to go to LA, and they happen to follow Quando Rondo because he's live updating on the damn internet every place he's going, and the cousin of Rondo dies. Then there's some evidence that shows that Dirk, paid for those flights, paid for the rental car. Then there's evidence that when the investigation began, Dirk happened to, buy some tickets out of the country and buy private and commercial. So that one, though, Dirk's lawyer was like, yeah, they do that because then that throws the paparazzi off or whatever. And then it makes sure they have their flight if there's some issue, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It actually sounded kind of logical that he would have like the multiple tickets. And if we want to talk about it, he wasn't planning on going to a non-extradition country. So it's not like he was like Donna Adelson going off to Vietnam, right? Like he was going somewhere where I think he had a performance or a meeting or some shit. I don't know. So that case to me, like a lot of cases, I'm like, oh, guilty. Or, oh, no, totally innocent. That's easy. Like they're pretty on their face. Like, oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah. I think Brian Koberger, Karen Reed, those were very obvious. Like, yeah, okay, they got it. They got the right one or the wrong one. This one is going to be interesting to watch because I'm going to need to see what the fuck the government thinks is going on. I don't think the government understands things. Here's what happens. Us attorneys, we're nerds. We're not, most of us are not like hanging out on the block. Even if we lived where there was a block, we were probably the person reading a book on the block. Like, we're not cool. Like, we're cool in the sense that we like protect the Constitution or whatever, but we're fucking nerds, guys. We're nerds. Okay, so I just can see that a bunch of like lawyer nerds are hanging around and hearing some rap song, and they're not using Urban Dictionary to like decipher the meanings or anything. They're not checking the copyright to see when it was copyrighted, and they're like projecting their ignorance onto the lyrics and then like building a case around that. That's how I feel about it. Like it just feels like okay, it kind of feels like if you were 14 and you had a diary and then like your grandma read it and like your diary said like it's lit, no cap, blah, blah, blah. And then your grandma read it and she was like, are you lighting things on fire? You see what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of thing with these prosecutors. I think that's what I see. That's my interpretation. And that's not very safe. That is very dangerous. Like we nerds do not belong in that arena. If we want to go to that, we want to be in that, fine, but we need to study it like we do everything else. You can't just be like, oh yeah, he said we hit the block with the Glock. A crime occurred. Like, okay. I could just see, like, I could just imagine the nerds being in an office like this, like looking at the lyrics. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm guilty. I'm one of the nerds, but I'm not guilty in that way because I don't prosecute people on my own ignorance. The state throw out Millie cases. Millie get a no, guys. Millie is not getting money. There's no money to be got. The government can falsely imprison you forever, pretty much, and you're fucked. Oh, he's gonna sue. Sue who? Can't sue God. See, that's why we have this channel, because we need to hold our government accountable. We need to understand these things. This man's life has been wasted. 7 to 9 years are gone. And if they don't prove him guilty, which they can't, he gets nothing. His release is so wild. Congratulations, bro. He could try to sue. I've seen people who've been falsely imprisoned get some funds. But it's not like, oh yeah, you can't be compensated. You can't be compensated for being locked in a box for 7 years. The government is immune. There are judges' orders. Like, there are laws that require him to be locked up. If it has to do with capital murder, you don't get bail, you don't get bond. The Supreme Court has said that's okay. There's nothing to get. It sucks, but it's the reality that we live in, y'all. That's why we have to hold them accountable. That's why we have to hold them accountable. That's why we need to know about this stuff. We're not in a situation right now to hold anyone accountable, though. Our entire way of life is in the stranglehold because of our current leadership and the direction they're trying to take our country. So if you think this is unjust with Melly, just buckle the fuck up, guys. Yeah, because that's where our country's headed right now. So we're all going to jail without getting out and not getting any compensation for it in the end. That's where we're all going. Oh, you don't, the president doesn't like you, John Bolton? Oh, here, we're charging you. Oh, the president doesn't like this? Oh, go to jail. Oh, the president doesn't like immigrants? Put them in jail. Or just ship them to other countries with no accountability. This is happening before our eyes to all of us. To all of us. If you think you're immune because you're a second generation, third generation America, you're not fucking immune. They will find something they don't like about you. I'm rereading George Orwell's 1984 right now, and I highly suggest if you haven't read it that you pick it up. It's a lot of alarming stuff in there, and a lot of like, oh. He was 40 years off in his estimate of time. More and more people can be held in prison. No bail, no bond, no future, and no repercussions. Sorry. Hate to break it, but we're on the fast track. Google Pinochet, guys. Google Chile's Pinochet. That's where we're headed. This is finding intelligence. Well, I guarantee you the prosecutors aren't watching this and they're not hoodlums, so it's unfortunate, but that's the way it happens. That's where we're at. Yes, Kiwi, the Supreme Court did rule that it is okay to profile people in terms of immigration. And you nailed that. I'm hoping to be deported to Denmark or Sweden or Finland or Switzerland. I don't know, anywhere that's cold. That's where I want to be deported to. I'm waiting for someone. She's supposed to be here. She's walking up the hallway. I don't see her. So yeah, K-Way, the Supreme Court has said, oh yeah, if you're profiling because of immigration, you can do that. That's cool. We allow that. Ah, she's here finally. Only an hour after our agreed meeting time. I'm on live right now on YouTube. Hey everyone, meet my beautiful, beautiful friend Shoella. Say hello. You're supposed to meet at 10 and it's now 10 in Texas, so she's exactly 1 hour and 3 minutes late.
I'm so sorry.
It's a good thing she only does contract work for me because we wouldn't last very long this way at all. At all.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. All right, yeah, K-Way, they are trying to roll. It's ROLL, not ROLE, but they are trying to roll back voting rights. Pretty much, I mean, at a certain point, I do think they're gonna take my license from me because I was born a woman. Like, we're on the fast track to that shit. Just look up Pinochet, dude. Pick up 1984. It's happening. This is where we're at. I think Dirk is kind of a victim of this. Melly's a victim of this. Like, this is where we're headed. All of these people that are being prosecuted and probably not correctly, and they can't even bother to check the fucking copyright date. Yeah. So nobody is immune. All right. Well, I got to get to work because someone finally is here. We have stuff to catch up on. It was great chatting with y'all. Next Friday, I think I have court, but I can't remember. If I don't have court, I'll be here. If I do, I will not. Have a great weekend, everyone.
I'm so sorry.